Right now, the most valuable private tech startup in the world is tracking down its own former employees. If you used to work there, they might just show up at your house to ask you some very pointed questions. They want to know exactly what was said to every congressional office and every potential investor. It is a massive, coordinated effort to silence dissent and plug leaks about what is actually happening behind closed doors. The reason for this defensive posture became clear in January 2026, when OpenAI confirmed that advertisements are coming to ChatGPT. The move affects both the free version and the $20 a month premium tiers. In late 2024, Sam Altman described ads as an absolute last resort, a measure he would only take if it were the only way to keep the service running for the world. By early 2026, that resort became the business model. This is the same organization that triggered the 2022 AI boom as a world-saving nonprofit. Now, internal documents project a staggering $14 billion loss by the end of 2026. The leader of the AI gold rush is bleeding cash, which raises a critical question. How did a company with such a massive head start engineer its own rapid unraveling? The entire AI investment boom was built on a single scientific concept called the scaling law, a theory championed by researchers at both Google and OpenAI. This chart shows the core premise. The theory assumes a direct mathematical relationship. If you feed a language model exponentially more computing power and training data on the x-axis, the model will become proportionally smarter on the y-axis. Early on, the data perfectly matched the theory. The leap from GPT-3 to GPT-4 was massive and predictable. This upward trajectory convinced Silicon Valley that a system capable of any human job was only a few years and a few billion dollars away. Then they hit a wall. By the summer of 2024, OpenAI finished training their highly anticipated next-generation model, Project Orion. But despite using a massive new data center, the model's capabilities flatlined. It barely outperformed GPT-4. The math stopped working. Brute forcing these models with mountains of scraped internet data is now yielding diminishing returns. The scaling law has effectively reached its limit. OpenAI's core scientific engine is stalled. They can no longer just buy their way to a smarter machine, and that leaves their technological advantage completely exposed. Because OpenAI's software stopped advancing, the rest of the industry had a wide open window to catch up, and well-funded competitors rushed in. Google's Gemini proved superior at real-time internet research and mobile utility, the features regular people use most. The difference was significant enough that Apple chose to partner with Google instead. This donut chart shows the immediate impact. In just 1 year, ChatGPT's market share dropped from 86% to 65%, while average daily usage times plummeted. Compounding the threat, a wave of capable open-source Chinese models like Kling AI and Qwen flooded the market, offering top-tier performance to anyone. Without a massive leap in capability to justify its premium status, OpenAI's product has shifted from an exclusive monopoly into a widely available commodity. Faced with a shrinking market share, leadership decided to force a technological breakthrough by spending an unprecedented amount of venture capital. The company committed to spending over $1 trillion on AI data center infrastructure over the next 8 years. They locked themselves into inescapable vendor agreements, including a contract to pay Oracle $60 billion annually starting in 2027. This bar chart shows the scale of the risk. That towering trillion-dollar infrastructure commitment is supported by a recurring annual revenue of barely $13 billion. Major backers are doing the math and getting nervous. Heavyweights like Blue Owl Capital recently pulled out of massive funding deals because they do not believe OpenAI can generate enough cash to pay them back. In a search for new revenue, they spent $6.4 billion to acquire former Apple designer Johnny Ive's firm to build a wearable AI pin, a project currently struggling in development. OpenAI is trapped in a financial spiral. By burning billions to protect a technological lead they no longer possess, projections show the company could run out of cash by 2027. All of this panic points back to the leadership orchestrating it. Investors are increasingly questioning if Sam Altman can deliver the trillion-dollar returns he has promised. Looking at his history, there is a pattern of overpromising. Back in 2005, with his early app Looped, Altman claimed a user base of 50,000 people. In reality, the app only had about 500 users. In 2014, while involved with Reddit, he scraped the platform's data for his own products, publicly promising to give 10% of the value back to the community, a promise that remains unfulfilled. The distrust extends to his closest colleagues. Former OpenAI co-founder Ilya Sutskever accused Altman of a consistent pattern of lying to his own board of directors before his brief firing in 2023. This loss of trust mirrors the company's own shift. In 2015, OpenAI was founded as a nonprofit dedicated to benefiting humanity. By 2026, it was exploring erotica chatbots and ad tiers to keep the lights on, a desperate pivot for a business struggling to find its footing. OpenAI moved the world toward generative models, but that momentum is stalling. Between the mathematical limits of their code and their financial recklessness, they have built a structure that cannot support its own weight. The company that started the fire may be the